This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, anglers say climate change may be responsible for declining salmon numbers in Otago. Thousands of people celebrated the 45th Queenstown Winter Festival over the weekend. And more than 100 daring Dunedinites threw common sense to one side as they dived into the frigid waters of St Clair Beach yesterday. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Sophie Morris. Anglers say climate change may be responsible for declining salmon numbers in Otago. About 20,000 salmon smolt have been released into a Dunedin stream this winter in the hope they will return as adults in a few years' time. But numbers of returning salmon have been low in recent years, with anglers and scientists curious as to the cause.
Getting a taste of Dunedin's Lindsay's Creek before heading out to sea. Salmon normally return to spawn in the rivers they started off in, identifying the location by smell. And it's hoped some of these 20,000 quinnet salmon smolt recently released by the Salmon Anglers Association will be caught by fishermen in a few years' time.
They should stay on the creek for hopefully 1 to 2 weeks, and then they move down the river into the harbour and they'll head out to sea to grow nice big salmon hopefully and come back in 2 to 3 years for our guys to catch.
Most years have seen the local hatchery at Sawyers Bay supplying salmon smolt, but this year the Anglers Association has been supplied from elsewhere.
The fish we're releasing today are coming from the Montrose nursery up north, and it will give us a bit of genetic variety as well, which is good for the breeding.
Not many adult salmon have returned to the harbour in recent years, and Corey says they suspect climate change could be the main factor in reducing the numbers of fish.
The water's definitely a lot warmer than what they used to be, and salmon are a cold water fish, and so we're picking that's one of the main reasons.
He says there might also be a link to low salmon numbers and starving yellow-eyed penguins, as they both feed on the same fish.
The salmon, will feed on small fish as well, like the yellow penguins, and so there could be some sort of factor there as well with the lack of food out at sea. In
past years, some large salmon have been caught in Otago harbour, with a fishing competition held late summer each year. In Dunedin, for the South Today.
A united chant calling for a developer not to use Kingston's main street for construction traffic ran out loud and clear on Saturday. About 90 residents holding placards marched from the Kingston Tennis Court to State Highway 6, where the group then split to walk on both sides of the road. The protest follows Kingston Community Association members learning earlier of developers' plans for a 900-home subdivision. Spokesman Jeff Rogers says existing residents support the housing development because it's set to bring vibrancy to the town. But he says they're against construction vehicles using the main road due to the impact on safety. Thousands of people celebrated the Queenstown Winter Festival over the weekend. Now in its 45th year, the event is an important showcase for the region, bringing in millions of dollars over 4 days.
Here we go. The celebration of all things winter, once again entertaining the masses gathered in Queenstown over the weekend for the annual Winter Festival.
For us, it's about showcasing our place. So it's about bringing our community together. It's about that time of the year where we celebrate the reason we all live here, to celebrate the winter starting.
The weather came to the party too, fresh snowfall at night and stunning sunshine through the day. The festivities began on Friday with the annual Dog Derby at Cutrona Alpine Resort.
The Montate's Dog Derby has been going for 45 years since the start of the Winter Festival. It's the only event that's actually been going that whole time, so it's awesome. It's really exciting to have it here. We ran it last year and it was a huge success.
The competitors this year coming from far and wide.
First time in the snow. We're actually from Whangamata in the North Island.
Oh, he's just a baby. He's a bit overwhelmed. He's a cuddle. Yeah.
On Saturday, thousands of people lined Queenstown Bay to watch reinvigorated festival favourites, including the Undy 500 and the Birdman.
It's been amazing, absolutely crazy, and it's not even as cold as we expected it to be. She warned us, but it's beyond expectations.
It's been great. It's been electric. It's been like the town actually has like a bit of a vibe to it. It's cool.
And while last year's Winter Festival pumped $4.4 million into the district over 4 days, the numbers for this year are yet to be crunched. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Hundreds of glowing lanterns floated into Dunedin's Octagon on Saturday night as a parade of performers took part in this year's Midwinter Carnival. Antarctic wonders and wildlife were the theme of this year's event, which saw about 30,000 spectators in attendance, up 5,000 on last year. Organisers say the mild weather helped attract the larger crowds. In the second year, the parade has travelled a longer route, starting at First Church before heading to the Octagon. But despite the carnival's success, organisers say it's a constant financial battle, with decisions needing to be made on how to keep the event going. More than 100 daring Dunedinites threw common sense to one side as they dived into the frigid waters of St Clair Beach yesterday. Organisers managed to pick one of the frostiest mornings of the year so far for the 91st polar plunge.
From onesies to bikinis and budgie smugglers, hundreds of either brave or foolhardy people braving St Clair Beach for Dunedin's annual polar plunge. Lifeguards were on hand just in case anyone got into trouble, but the cold was the biggest issue.
I think everyone comes out pretty cold, but luckily we've got the fins that come on board with the hot water fire truck, so kind of everyone can go up there and get warm after that. So I think probably hypothermia is probably the main risk on a day like this. It's pretty safe out there. But yeah, it's mainly the cold that gets the people, I think.
But by the time the event started, the sky was clear and the winds were calm. Many participants waded into the water, submerging themselves before quickly running back out again, while others enjoyed having a splash around.
Yeah, no, I think it was a great turnout. I think it was, you could see on the sand sausages, there's heaps of people kind of watching, and there was a good couple of hundred people, I guess, at the beach celebrating this iconic event.
More than 100 people turned out for the 91st edition of the Polar Plunge. St Clair Surf Life Club Chairman Cam Burrow says the weather played a huge part in the good numbers taking part.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, weather-wise, blue skies probably one of the better days we've had compared to the usual howling southerly, and the surf's not too dangerous, so it's quite inviting, I guess, for people to brave themselves and run out there.
Swimmers were treated to hot soup and a warm hosing off from local firefighters who used to get hot water from the Cadbury factory, but now it comes from another iconic Dunedin business.
Yeah, so we get it from Line Nathan now, so it's Spates. So yeah, the fins go there and get full of fire truck full of hot water, so yeah, it's great for these people because obviously they can go warm up, and yeah, unfortunately we're not in front of the Esplanade today, but I think it's still been a good turnout considering where we are and the way the beach is. It's pretty damaged at the moment.
While lesser dressed people frolicked in the deeper waters, this penguin appeared content to gently paddle in the shallows. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. The Stars hit the stage in Papakaio, and Hakatere Corner gets recognised with a blue plaque from Historic Places Mid-Canterbury.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
It's too late to sow seed, but don't despair. Ready Lawn is the answer to all your garden woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 027 22 88 190.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
The season has changed, and at Alec Campbell Menswear, in our 3 stores, Cromwell, South Dunedin and Mosgiel, we have it covered. Check out these jackets. They'll keep you warm and dry and stylish. Of course, we're known for our fashion shirts, but in the winter we do have our lovely warm shirts. Look at them all. And we're known for our great range of winter knitwear too. Don't forget our stretch moleskins, 6 colours.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
We'll keep you warm and dry and looking just great.
you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer. You owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Ricky here from Beds R Us Dunedin, your local sleep specialists. Come in and try our huge touchscreen sleep selector, taking the hard work out of choosing the right bed for you. See you here.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Oh mate, I'm thinking about getting a new ute.
Welcome back. Police descended on a Dunedin street this afternoon after a man was seen carrying what was thought to be a firearm during a street fight. Police say they were alerted to a fight between a group of men in Craigleith Street in North East Valley, one of which could have possibly been holding a gun. The men fled before officers could arrive. Police are looking for the men involved and are talking to witnesses. The crowds were out in force for this year's Papakaio Stars in Your Eyes contest. The annual event was held at the Papakaio Community Hall inland from Oamaru on Friday and Saturday nights. Based on the popular British TV show, the audience watches everyday people take to the stage to perform as one of their musical idols. 15 individual and group acts competed for the title. Performers impersonated included Jerry Halliwell of the Spice Girls, as well as Shirley Bassey, Willie Nelson and Pink. The event was a fundraiser for the continued maintenance of the hall. The heritage value of Hakatere Corner has been recognised with a blue plaque from Historic Places Mid-Canterbury. It's part of what was Hakatere Station, with its historic stone cottage and old cookhouse, all of which have been restored.
Official recognition for an historic cottage. A heritage plaque unveiled at Hakatere Corner, part of a heritage precinct in Ashburton Gorge. It's the 6th blue plaque awarded in the district by Heritage New Zealand.
And this is an initiative we started about 18 months ago or so to get plaques on some of our listed historical buildings in Ashburton and in the Canterbury district.
The plaque says Hakatere Station was settled in 1857 by Thomas Henry Potts, who's known as one of New Zealand's earliest conservationists. Local historian David Howden is one of those behind the project and says the plaque has been in the planning stage for around a decade.
To help maintain these iconic station buildings, the Department of Conservation manager George Hadler convened a community meeting in Mount Somers in 2010, and from this the Hakatere Heritage Committee was formed.
Deputy Chair of Historic Places Mid-Canterbury Nigel Gilkison says the idea for the round blue plaques to signify historic places comes from England.
So it's really it's sort of based loosely on the blue plaques that you see in London and in the UK, about the same size, so they're obviously quite big, but they're really intended to be a signifier that this is an important heritage place, as well as sort of a little bit of information about each of the buildings.
Hakatere Corner features the stone cottage, a visitor centre, a wool wagon used to take wool out of the gorge, as well as a killing shed and a skin drying room. The stone cottage, now earthquake strengthened and restored, was originally built in 1865 And the Singleman's quarters were built in the mid-1870s to house station workers. In mid-Canterbury, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we take a look at Apprentice of the Year held in Queenstown over the weekend, and we check out tomorrow's weather.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
The season has changed, and at Alec Campbell Menswear in our 3 stores, Cromwell, South Dunedin and Mosgiel, we have it covered. Check out these jackets. They'll keep you warm and dry and stylish. Of course, we're known for our fashion shirts, but in the winter we do have our lovely warm shirts. Look at them all. And we're known for our great range of winter knitwear too. Don't forget our stretch moleskins, 6 colours.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
We'll keep you warm and dry and looking just great.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
It's too late to sow seed, but don't despair. Ready Lawn is the answer to all your garden woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 027 22 88 190.
Bowel cancer is the second highest cause of cancer death in New Zealand.
And New Zealand's got a higher rate of bowel cancer than many other Western countries.
Because it's one of those areas of the body that we don't talk about often enough.
It is one of those silent killers almost, that if it strikes and if you develop symptoms, sometimes it's too late.
So it's a major issue.
Welcome back. The pressure was high as Southern building apprentices took part in the Regional Apprentice of the Year competition in Queenstown over the weekend. The annual event aims to find the best young apprentices across the country, with the national finals set for later this year.
Not quite the construction of a full-sized house. Building apprentices from the southern region taking part in this year's Apprentice of the Year competition. Saturday's regional heats were held in both Invercargill and Queenstown, with a panel of judges deciding who will get to represent the South at the Nationals.
Today we've just got the regional event here where we've got 5 apprentices that are doing a project as part of their judging.
The challenge gave them 2 hours to make a birdhouse from plans they were given just 5 minutes before the clock started.
Past years they have done some, each contestant may have done something different, but nationally this year, each at this stage are all doing the same, building the same bird house.
Knights says it's important to showcase the hard work and skills of the young apprentices.
It just recognises up and coming people within the building industry and their talents.
Over the next few weeks, judges will interview the regional top 10 apprentices, as well as visit their work sites and meet their bosses, with one going on to the national finals, set to be held in Auckland in November. In Queenstown, for the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Anglers say climate change may be responsible for declining salmon numbers in Otago. Thousands of people celebrated the 45th Queenstown Winter Festival over the weekend. And more than 100 daring Dunedinites threw common sense to one side as they dived into the frigid waters of St Clair Beach yesterday. And time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Hayden.
Good evening, Sophie.
Good
How
evening.
are you?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Good. Well, it's always good at the start of the week when there's lots and lots of interesting stories. And we're certainly at that point today. It's been a struggle to work out what to put on page one and what not tomorrow, which is always a good problem to have. So we start in Mosgiel, which is obviously a great place, a go-ahead place. All the best people are living out in Mosgiel now. The Mosgiel RSA had an uncertain future, I guess. Came into the news a couple of months ago. Spent a lot of money out there on their new restaurant and club rooms, so they have decided they are going to sell. They've decided it's not viable to stay where they are. They're going to sell those buildings, and they're not going to move far. They're going to move to the Mosgiel Bowling Club and look at a new facility there. So big news for them, and I think big news for the people of Mosgiel who frequent that place. Dunedin, what's happening? Sports fields are always a topic of discussion during winter, and the DCC is going to do a full review, I think starting next week or the next week or two. What have we got? What do we need? How are they used? What could be better? A huge amount of obviously young people, but older people using sports fields, especially during winter. A lot of demand and weather can sometimes play a part. So that'll be interesting just to see where they go with that. And believe it or not, yet another interesting childbirth story. It feels like it's sort of the season for interesting regional stories. A remarkable woman, we talked to her, who gave birth in a car while it was on the way to Alexandra's hospital. So been a really popular topic, I guess. A very compelling reading for those of us who live close to big hospitals, but of course a lot of people in Otago don't live close to big hospitals. So that will be an interesting yarn. A piece on the James Cameron exhibition, which is starting to take shape, which I cannot wait to go and see. Such a buzz for Dunedin to get something like that. It should be great. And all Highlanders fans, we wanted to know, rightio, the season's over now, how are we going to look for next year? And that is the question that our Steve Hepburn will be attempting to answer next year. It's going to be a radically changed Highlanders team. The word rebuilding was made for this Highlanders team, but that brings with it obviously lots of opportunities for newcomers to come through. So all Highlanders fans, I'm sure, will be reading Steve's story tomorrow with interest.
Right, well thank you, Hayden. All of that and more in tomorrow's ODT. And time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with our southern view, dark clouds arriving from the south of Dunedin around lunchtime. Looking at the situation, an intense but slow-moving anticyclone will bring a week of clear skies and heavy frost to the region. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect a few clouds and 13 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim are likely to have clear skies with 13 degrees. In Canterbury, blue skies and 12 degrees in Kaikoura, Christchurch and Ashburton. Looking at the southern towns, light southwesterlies and fine conditions. The Catlins heads for 8 degrees, Balclutha 7, while Lumsden and Gore are both expecting 5 degrees. Travelling westward to the Central Lakes, light southwesterlies and mostly fine. The top temperature for Wanaka and Alexandra should be 5 degrees. Queenstown is set to reach 4, while Tiano is predicted to be the warmest of the region with 6 degrees. Looking to the northern towns, light southwesterlies and fine on the coast with Timaru and Oamaru set for 10 degrees. Still fine but much cooler inland with light winds, 3 degrees for Marama and 4 for Twizel. In Dunedin tonight, fine and cold with an overnight low of -2. Mostly fine and sunny tomorrow and Wednesday with cold temperatures and light southerly or southwesterly winds, with frost again tomorrow night. Looking at a high of 9 and a low of -3. Clear skies on Wednesday with light winds, aiming for a high of 9 and a low of -4. Heading to Invercargill, cold with frost tonight with an overnight low of -1. Sunny and frosty tomorrow, a high of 9 and a low of -3. Sunny and frosty on Wednesday with light southwest winds, looking at a high of 9 degrees and a low of -3, so take care on southern roads and footpaths. That's all for our news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.